Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And for those who are new to my channel, welcome. I am here with one of my friends, Animaine.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for having me on, Kate. Kate be dazzling Kate. I feel like this is my first Dazzling Kate live stream, and it took way too long for me to finally come up here. So y'all gonna have to forgive me. I promise y'all, I'm not always I don't always take this long to do stuff. So bear with me.
It's all right. I have
Please
a
and thank
whole list of things I need to do, and I've never gotten to do them. So it's like I get where you're coming from, and it's
you.
totally
Yeah,
okay here. Okay, so
awesome.
yeah, early like before we came on, like I was actually talking to Animaine about the whole situation with the culture war and how people react to specific things. And I was like, oh, isn't it kind of tiring to see the same repetitive stuff? Like everyone losing their mind when something new comes out and bam, it just opens up the can of worms.
hmm Yeah, I definitely feel like kind of like how I told you before we went live. I definitely understand participating in the culture war and everything because I mean it hurts and it's hard to see your favorite characters and your favorite stories be just dragged through the dirt or having people who really aren't genuinely fans of things come into a fandom and then declare themselves like the real fans and everyone else has to like adopt how they do things or just leave. Like that's
Yeah.
terrible. That's head ass. Like get that out of here, right? But in my the way I see things, I'm participating in this quote unquote fight so that one day the fight will end. So that at some point, and it'll never be perfect, but at some point I would kind of like for things to reach a sort of equilibrium where everyone can just enjoy what they enjoy. We can all just sit around and like our big titty anime waifus and our dragon goddesses and our flaming mechs and our stalwart superheroes and our video games and our tabletop games and everyone kind of just kind of coexists, and for the folks that aren't vibing with other people they can just let them be and just kind of do their own thing, right? Like everything doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a constant war. I'm fighting so that we can end the fight at some point, but the way
Yeah. It's
we see a
always
lot of
like
things
listening.
now.
Oh, continue.
No. I'm sorry. Y'all who know me, y'all know I can be long-winded, so don't mind me if sometimes I go on entirely too long. But I feel like there are people on both sides who are more invested in just the fight. So it's all about, oh, we got to get up here, we got to get on Twitter, we got to dunk on the chuds today. Who's the chud we're going to dunk on? And then over on the other side is, oh, I love triggering the snowflakes. I'm going to say this thing that's genuinely like offensive and probably some type of not like on no istophobe shit, but genuinely probably bigoted or genuinely fucked up because I can't wait to trigger the libs. I can't wait to own the SJWs. And then that just fuels the fire of the SJWs. And then people are fighting about a fight. And that goes on. And then everyone makes 1,000 videos about nothing. And then I'm just sitting here like, um, so this issue of this book came out and it's dope. And then this indie comic over here is fire. And like if y'all want to read it, and this video game came out and it's hot. This other one over here is trash. We gotta talk about that too. But like I'm so much more invested in like the actual discussion and dissection of things because I'm a fucking nerd, big whoop. But
Yeah.
like I love actually looking at something, seeing what makes it good or what makes it bad, what can make it better. But when everything is just about, oh, we got to trigger the snowflakes, we got to dunk on the chuds, and that shit bores me and it annoys me when that's all that's happening.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And last year I used to like I'm still trying to move on from like making a video about every single thing that happens. Now I'm trying
hmm
to like analyze it in a way where I'm like, okay, I got to take away some elements of what I do. I mean, I still react in a funny way, but I don't want to do it to the point where I'm like, shitting all over the writer to the point of, it actually being brutal to the point where it kind of does cross the line. I don't want to be one of those people because I notice that a
Yeah.
lot of people are just like, "Oh, well, we'll blame this person forever." I mean, I may have my disagreements with like, Brian Bendis. Like it
hmm
every single time new stuff comes out, I get like a little cringed out now. I used to like, be fuming like I could
Yeah.
literally be on fire. But now I'm just like it's whatever. I'm just cringing inside, but it's whatever. I put more of my emotion into my art now, which kind of helps.
Exactly. Exactly. That's one of the beautiful things about art is that it gives you an outlet to sort of get a lot of these emotions and a lot of these thoughts out and put it into a way where you're taking what's in your head and you're using it to create something, whether that's a like a righteous indignation, or whether that's feeling like, oh man, I miss this type of story, this type of character, or that character might be, they look kind of cool, but I feel like the way people write them, they're just like not
Y-
utilizing them. If I were to do them, I'd do them like this, right? And like
Yeah,
in that way, we're using our thoughts, we're using our opinions about a lot of these characters to create something new. And we're just taking from our own creativity, our own imagination, and we're utilizing all these things that's actually beneficial to us and enriches other people, inspires other people, instead of just sitting around. And this is, I mean, obviously I have a whole video series dedicated to reading terrible comics, so this is not me saying, don't ever do that. But if that's all your life, if that's all, if you want to be a content creator and you just want to focus on that, I feel like a lot of people, if you're starting in that vein now, you're gonna find that the well really isn't that deep. um One, because the market's so saturated with creators who cover that stuff exclusively, and then if all you ever are is negative, then that's going to attract other negative people. And I don't know if you noticed, but negative people tend to not be most supportive. Now, I think you and me, probably in a similar way, are kind of in a nice little sort of middle ground where we definitely have no problem being critical when some stupid shit's going on out here.
yeah,
We have no problem holding things to task and calling a spade a spade. But at the same time, we don't just want to keep making 85 videos or tweet threads or whatever about the same thing and just acting like that's all the culture is. Like the whole culture is
yeah,
not just wokeness, and wokeness is not the only problem going on here. If we gonna talk about it, let's talk about it, but don't make it a us versus them thing all the time, because then we're just playing the game that they play.
yeah.
We're just playing the game that those folks play over there, and then that's just what keeps the whole thing going.
Yeah, I've noticed that from a like both point of views. Like I do have plenty of friends who do like think, okay, it's so like annoying to see these SJWs do like doing this, and then I've from a witness being a former social justice warrior, and to an extent, like I'm not gonna say
Hmm.
I used to like go after people, but I used to think really bad thoughts about some people, and those thoughts they can really make you feel disgusting inside. Like during that time when you would like a lot of people would like push these thoughts of, oh wow, there's this offensive man doing this, and I would be like,
Yeah.
yeah, men suck. And
Right.
I would just feel gross inside. I'm like, for years I didn't know what that feeling was, and I was like, I always felt like I didn't mean it, but I needed to say it in order to feel accepted with these people who I thought were my friends. And it
Hmm.
sucked having to deal with that all the time. Like I'm just like, I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to agree with like you guys, so I go to like straight up like I hate SJW types. And
Hmm.
recently now I'm trying to like like understand more elements of what is going on in everything, other than just saying it sucks, it's crap, it doesn't deserve to be looked at, and that's it. If I just say
Yeah.
that, every video is going to be like that, and I can't prove my point and say, well, it's always crap. If I don't
Exactly.
have evidence, it doesn't really prove my point.
Exactly. You just hit so many good nails on the head. That mindset in general is just very toxic. It's very corrupting. Like, and I think a lot of people who aren't necessarily full-blown SJW but are sort of running in those circles, they do that thing where they know this is the approved opinion. If something bad happens and the person is a white male, then it's just because they're a white male. But if it's somebody else of any other identity, we got to make a million excuses for them. Or you just looking at folks like, just like you said, the whole men suck thing, or straight people suck. You don't feel like that, but you are either convinced yourself that that's how things are, or if you say anything else, they're going to turn on you. The whole the left eats its own sort of meme comes to mind. But then you look at everything else going on the other side, and it's like the same levels of vitriol and the same levels of just closed mindedness start coming up. And to say, just like you said, oh well, everything just sucks, everything's just woke. Like, what are we doing with that? Like, how is that improving things? Like, if you're gonna call out the shit, you need to be able to, especially if you're one of these reviewers or whatever, you need to be able to engage with it, like you said, so that you can have evidence to back up what you're saying, so that you can at least know what you're talking about. Because if you're just going to be out here and be like, oh, I didn't watch this movie, but I know it's trash and I know it's woke because I saw a retweet of a screenshot of an article that I also didn't read. And that's how I know it's woke. And everyone who watches it is part of the problem. And you're just a fan addict and you're a wokey and I'm better than you. Like, who the fuck is that helping? Who the fuck is that helping? Spoiler alert, no fucking body.
Yeah, I've seen this so many times in a row. Like, there are some professionals who actually read, the stuff. Even if they don't like it, they can say at least they can prove something. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact, for me, if I were to do more of that, like, I know I would have to go through each and every book to kind of connect some of the elements before and after to have it make sense. And I know in my past videos, I'm like, nope, I just read one book, and I try and read it up into a point, like 3 books, 4 books, or 5. That even then I'm like, the writing's too long, that kind of thing. And I'm gonna go straight to the
Mm-hmm.
comments to like check in with everyone. Oh, okay, fierce apathetic black queen, nice to have you here. Free Fire
Come
Pro,
on,
it's
Black
always
Queen.
such a fun time
Hell
to have
yeah,
you
hell
here.
yeah. I know.
Okay.
I love seeing the cross section of the audience that we have here in common here. I know I'm seeing all these beautiful names that I'm familiar with, and even the ones I'm not familiar with. How y'all doing? Glad y'all could come through to the live stream. It's beautiful, very very freaking beautiful. But yeah, it's just a mess. It's a shit show out here, and it's kind of exhausting. And like you said, sometimes you want to read this stuff to get context, but then you're like, okay, I'm 2 3 issues in, and like all I've read is literally nothing but word balloons, and everyone's just making dumbass Disney jokes. I think I'm kind of I'm kind of done. So like
Yeah.
I think it's useful when some of us actually will go through this stuff. That way we can sort of digest it and like summarize it and put it out there for folks who maybe don't even have time, right? Like the folks who are working multiple jobs, got families to worry about and stuff all the time, always running around. They just want some, a little bit quicker and digestible. Can't really invest a whole bunch of time to read this book and everything. And if we're going to accurately talk about it and, sincerely dissect what we feel like is wrong with it, then that's very useful. I mean, for fuck's sake, we got folks like, Mahler and JXE out here making 5 hour long videos about shit, summarizing how some of these movies and um, TV series are where they've gone wrong. So it's like, if we can do that for the stuff that we consume, then that's good. And you know what? Some stuff, either because we're too emotionally invested or we have no desire to even engage with it at all anymore. Sometimes
Yeah.
walking away is just the best decision, right? Like, I know for me, after all that shit happened last year with Gina Carano and the High Republic stuff with Disney Star Wars, I'm just like, I can't do this no more. And I lost all investment in the current era of Star Wars. So like that's why I haven't made any videos covering anything that's happened over the past year with Star Wars, because I'll straight up sit down and try to watch a new show or whatever, and I'll get like 10 minutes in and I'm like, yeah, I don't care anymore, and I'll just turn it off and just walk away. So I'm not going to sit there and make a video about how I know, oh, Bad Batch sucks, guys, it was so terrible. I don't know. I checked out at 10 minutes because I don't care anymore. So why am I going to sit here and try to drag it to shreds? Like, if I wanted to really dive in, or if I wanted to make content on it, I would have to dive in. I really don't feel like diving in, so I'm just not going to make content on it.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Okay. Oh, wow. Again, guys, you are being very active in the chat. That's awesome. I always enjoy seeing that.
Hell yeah, get that chat hype.
But yeah. Oh,
Nice,
right.
nice.
I'm just still up at the front page. Fierce apathetic black queen. Kate, are you okay today? I'm fine. I don't know where you're getting this. Like, am I not okay? I'm totally fine right now, guys. I don't know what's gotten you guys wild up.
I don't know. Maybe you sounded a little distressed in the opening there. I don't know.
Did I sound like distressed? Did I sound really distressed? Like I
Not
gotta
to me.
rethink that.
Maybe she was just asking, how you doing.
Oh, okay.
That could be it.
Sometimes I get a little bit confused because my mental disability just gets me a little pushy and like overthink. So I'm like, what?
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
no, it's all good.
okay. So yeah, you guys know what we're here for. We're here to talk about comic creating, and it's not always an easy task. It's a very lengthy process where you're going to
Mm-mm.
scream, cry, and throw a couple of pencils across the room and wonder what the hell am I even doing again. I'm furious with myself, but what can you really do?
Yeah.
Now, I would love like let's start with you, Animaine, first. Like what is like you can tell me either one of your books because you have two of them coming out, and my details in mind, I forget important details. So, which one of your books do you want to talk about right now?
We can start with Bond of the Blade. That one has existed in my head a bit more, and I
Okay.
have more written out for that, so I can probably talk about different elements of that a little bit easier. But yeah, basically, for those of y'all who don't know, like Kate just said, Bond of the Blade is one of the two stories I'm working on. This one is more in the shonen action vein of think of your favorite properties that focus on like unreasonably strong kids like in their late teens getting some type of abilities or superpowers from somewhere, and they start off more as ground level heroes, kind of like in the vein of like Ninja Turtles or Daredevil.
Oh wow, that's
um
pretty cool.
yeah, definitely. And when I realized that's what I wanted to do with the story, I was like, yes, let's go in and let's go in that direction. Where their main thing is they're fighting against this mega gang that's sort of taken over their city called the Zealots, and the Zealots, they following their leader, this sort of revolutionary or pseudo revolutionary by the name of Mamba. If you've ever seen any of my Bond of the Blade art, where you see the girl with the white mask with the bloody tears and the flowing locks, like that's Mamba. That's the first like big bad you could say of Bond of the Blade, and between them following her, and they sort of bring about like this whole new, like almost like a new code of the streets, how people are just living in fear, and they use this drug that gives them like superpowers, like super strength, durability, and everything. um and the heretics, that's the name of the good guys actually. They're these three best friends, high school seniors, who they can all fight because as you know, with all these shonen properties, they're kids, but they can fight like Bruce Lee, at his peak, for some inexplicable reason, right? So they have that going on, but they usually, up to this point, they've been using their fighting to look out for themselves, and they sort of have a sort of like a, we can protect ourselves, we can protect each other type of thing going on. But each of them has something happen to them specifically that gets them
Ooh,
thinking more about their community, and how they've been watching their city pretty much go to shit, all throughout their
yeah,
teens, right? And they've had, because you remember how it was when you were a kid. Maybe you were mainly worried about taking care of yourself, maybe your immediate friend family group, and then just graduating school, going off to college and stuff.
yeah.
So they had to go through something, each of them, to get them thinking more in the lines of, no, I at least stand a better chance of taking some of these guys on than most average people. So I do need to do something to actually address this problem, or there won't be a city for me to come back to once I go off to college. And the group's leader, whose name is Terry, he gets entrusted with this family heirloom of this sword. Um, and now he's a huge nerd like me, so he's just thinking like, what am I go out here and I'm gonna go like all Link on them from Zelda? Like, no, that's not gonna work. They got guns. I'm gonna get shot. What you doing? What you talking to me about, Granddad? But it turns out the sword actually holds this warrior spirit named Ashira, and who, for lack of a better phrase, we can call her Terry's family's guardian angel. And as a part of, she's attached to the sword, right? And she
Oh
has this thing
wow.
called, and that's exactly where the phrase "bond of the blade" comes from,
Oh
because
shit, that's pretty cool. Like I like
thank you.
honestly, I'm just like imagining, just grabbing a sword and being like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Bam, a ghost.
Mhm.
Oh shit! Oh shit! What the hell?
That's kind of how it is, you know. Like Terry's just holding it right, and then it doesn't happen immediately, but like the next night when he goes to sleep, he's having this dream, and he's thinking it's a dream, and he's talking to this woman, this tall, beautiful, but still kind of like rough woman, and
Oh
she's
yeah.
talking to him about all this stuff, and he's like, oh my god, was my granddad telling the truth, or am I making this up? But that's how it is. Like when someone touches the blade, and she can connect with them sort of, I guess you could say, telepathically, and if they're willing to allow her access, then she will grant them limited use of some of her powers, right? They'll get the super strength she has, the durability, and they'll be able to manifest some of the like extra powers that she had, you know. And she's been doing that with Terry's family members all the way back to his great granddad back during the Great Depression. And so Terry learns how, okay, it's kind of like a whole family process for him, where it's like, okay, this is like my family's destiny, so now it's my turn. So now that I've gone through this whole thing and I want to actually be better, and I want to step up and stand up for my city, now I'm ready to sort of walk in the footsteps of my my mother, my grandma, my granddad, all those people. And then his two best friends, Michaela and Will, they both have their own things that started thinking them like that too, or getting them to think like that too. And so they formed the superhero group called the Heretics, and that's where they start putting on the urban ninja garb, and each of them has like a specific power that I call like a aura power. You know how Dragon Ball has ki,
Oh yeah. Like I've
Naruto has
seen.
chakra. Yep. And so Bond of the Blade has aura. So all of them have their own individual aura power, and it's a sort of manifestation of something Ashira did when she was alive physically. And they used their abilities to combat the zealots, to beat them back, to keep them from running the city, and to honestly, they want to inspire other people. They want to bring hope sort of back to Union City. That's the city they live in. They want to bring hope back to Union City, so that people can even conceive of a better day where they won't have to live in fear all the time, you know.
It
Because I
sounds. Oh, so,
that's
sorry.
no, it's okay, but that's something that I remember, because the area I grew up in wasn't super rough, but I remember when I got into middle school, going into high school, we started to have a lot of increased gang activity, because that's when the Bloods and the Crips started coming into the area, and they got heavier. And I remember there were some times where it's like people were straight up scared to just walk around outside. Like, there were always some rough neighborhoods in my area, but after a certain point, people started to feel like, oh man, you can't go by there because that's the Bloods over there. If you walk around out there, you can't wear no blue, or you can't do nothing, or you liable to not come back. And sometimes we would like come home from the movies or something, and the block would be all taped off with tape because somebody got shot and all this stuff. And so I remember how that was. And then just having family members who've had gone through some real rough stuff. I know a little bit more about that whole life. And I feel like that's something that when people are living in that environment of hopelessness and that whole sort of code of the streets where you're not supposed to snitch, you're just supposed to mind your business, you can't do nothing, you can't help if no one needs help, you're just supposed to put your head down or else you'll be next. And I wanted to put some of that into like the whole superhero sort of vigilante mindset of what would somebody do if they wanted to not just combat the immediate threat, but help other people so that everyone can sort of find their own strength to stand up against, all the stuff that's going on out here.
That's very inspiring. I really like the concept of like, these, young people getting together, fighting crime and, doing it for a better tomorrow, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
And it really fascinates me. And I actually went onto your Twitter and, you had that whole like Bond of the Blade hashtag on. You mind if I show like the audience what the book like? There is a few pages I've seen, so I'm kind of getting an idea.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, give me a moment to just share the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, you guys are really nice today. Like I'm stoked for the Bond of the Blade from Blue
Yeah.
Wind. Raven Flame is this story sounds fantastic.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Raven. Yeah, I can't wait for Kate to show some of these pages here, man. I love writing this stuff so much. And then my artist, Goichi Monji, he's the guy who does the Bond of the Blade art. He just brings my characters to life, man. And excuse me,
Okay, so I
he
got
he
like
understands like my vision so much. Oh yeah, that was a good one right there. I just did that
right
one the
here,
other day. Yep. There's just this whole yeah, so that's Terry right there, and that's
right here.
starting from the yep, he's in the middle, and then starting from the top left, that's his great grandfather Marcellus, and then his
Hmm.
grandfather Emmett, his grandmother Regina, and those two, they're like his senseis because they're like
Oh, cool.
degrees, yeah, they're degrees in black belt. They would be like they're like my nod to like the black exploitation era of film and stuff. So there's so a lot of like Shaft and Foxy Brown and Coffee like inspired those guys a whole lot, and they're like some beasts in their own rights. Like a lot of people say that I should write like a prequel just focusing on them, and I honestly could because I have enough
Yeah, you
material.
should. This sounds like a lot of good book material that you could like, in the future, like for your next book or something, it could totally be a great prequel. And I'm just like, I'm
Mhm.
really excited to see more because I'm just like, man, like, oh
Yeah.
man, this is looking good.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely. And then the next one there, that's Michaela, who her superhero name is Chant. Oh, I probably should say, oh, come on, anime, get it together. I should probably say their actual like code names. So Terry goes by Shen when he's under the mask.
Ooh.
Mickey there, she goes by Chant, and then the next guy, Will, is Vice. And Chant's thing, not to talk too much about, I don't want to spoil anything, but she's a lot of her stuff deals with her journey because she's a Christian, and she's a very strong, person of faith. But she's sort of in that vein of, she comes from a background where, you're supposed to just be the nice Christian girl and, do this, that, and the third. But if she wants to do more, or if she wants to be her own person in a certain way, there's a lot of stuff holding her back. So that's
Oh
a lot of
wow.
her. That's why I put there for that. In the actual text, to let God's protective light, protective love shine through her, because in her opinion, like when she's out here being a heretic, that's her letting God's spirit of protection and guarding the weak and defending people from evil. That's what she's doing. So even though there are several people like of her church environment who will be like, you're out here fighting, that's heathen stuff, that's hooligan stuff, but it's like, no, I'm defending people. Like, how am I'm look, for all my Christian folks in the audience, y'all will get this, right? Sometimes when you follow Jesus, sometimes you got to be the lamb, but sometimes you got to be the lion.
Oh, of course. Like,
Michaela's like, it's time for me to be out here and be the lion. You know,
precisely. I really like this. Was she inspired by your friend you were talking about in your like previous live stream?
Actually, no, but my friend Breezy, that's who she's referring to, guys. But Breezy actually, a little bit kind of now, not in the creation, but because Breezy is such a awesome spiritual person, and in my opinion, a example of how to be like a great Christian out here and really use your spirituality and your religion to uplift yourself and others and not just like dump on people. So that's like that's definitely Michaela all the way. But no, Mickey was actually inspired by two close friends of mine that I've had since high school. But at the time, both of them were also like really strong Christians like I was, and one of them still is, I think. Excuse me. But and then we had Will back there. He was more of like the street smart wisecracker, and the reason why his screen looked like that is because he has like a really dark hitting past where he wasn't like a gang member, but he's done a lot of shady shit, and he feels like he has to step up and sort of assume more of a heroic role because there's things he's done in his past that it's like, okay, the zealots are out here fucking shit up, and I feel a certain way about that. But it's like, not too long ago, I was the one out here doing that stuff. So, it's almost like I have to help fix what I used to help destroy. And then right there on the screen now, you have Ashira, who is my awesome warrior waifu. And it's weird because you talked a little bit earlier about the process of creating characters. It's funny how Ashira is one of my most popular characters, and she wasn't based on anybody. Like, she wasn't based on any fictional character. She really wasn't based on any people from real life either. It's just at a certain point in my young adulthood, I just had this really strong sense of like this motherly, like protector figure, like a guardian angel, the type of woman who was like almost like a Wonder Woman type, where it's like she's beautiful and she's regal, but she could like kick you through a mountain and
Oh wow.
and then the guy she's fighting right there, that's one of her comrades, this guy by the name of Midas, who he doesn't show up a whole lot until later on in the story, but he's actually was inspired by figures like Gilgamesh from I think the Mesopotamian sort of pantheon, and also a lot of Egyptian gods, because I know you know about the Egyptian gods. A lot of them got
Yeah.
like the animal heads on her and all that. So that's basically like my nod to like that era of mythology. And Ashira, to be a little more specific, I've been calling her a guardian angel. Just a little character tidbit. Ashira hates being called an angel. She does not like that at all. She is a seraph. If for my people familiar with biblical angels, you know the seraphs or the seraphim. They're the ones who are often drawn with six wings, or sometimes they draw them as like snakes, like giant, almost like Eastern dragon type snakes with the six wings. So
Yeah, I
she's one
can
of
see
those.
that. I can see
She's
that.
one of those folks. Yeah.
Again,
But yeah, like
she's really gorgeous. I Is
thank
she
you.
like always seen with scars? Like,
Yeah.
well, okay, that's amazing actually.
Yeah, because that's sort of weirdly enough, when I first before I ever had her drawn, I made her in a Monster Hunter world, and I made that model with the scars, and I just thought she would be the type of person to where it's like, on one hand she's gorgeous, but then she's like scarred up, kind of not so much that she looks, it's hard to look at her, but just it's clear evidence that she's lived a warrior's life. She'd be the type of person who is like, no, I don't want to like put makeup on to hide my scars or anything. I'm proud of my scars. They're part of my journey. She's one
That
of
is
those.
really nice because I'm someone with a scar on her face, so it's always nice to see other characters who do have those scars and don't try to hide them.
Yeah.
I've hid mine plenty of times because girls are always like in my school it was like you got to be wearing makeup or you're going to be like looking like a loser, and I'm like I don't want to be the loser, but I was already the loser.
Well, you're talking to a lifelong loser who just decided, you know what, I'm gonna just embrace it. So
Yeah, like
I feel you. I feel you. But yeah, and it's weird that you should say that, because I feel like as much talk for like quote unquote representation and body positivity that we have out here, we don't have more characters like this. Characters
yeah.
who have these traits that maybe society deems is quote unquote unworthy, but can still be cool, can still be someone you can aspire to be like, or just enjoy reading. Like you can have a plus size woman superhero, or you can have someone who has like some scars, right? But still, that don't mean have them be ugly. That don't mean have them look like crap. You still got to put
Yeah.
care into the character design. You still got to make them likable. You have to make people be invested. It's not, oh, I want to go against body standards, so I'm gonna have an 800-pound superhero. Who is gonna sign up for that? Who is gonna be in line for that? I'm like, nah,
Nobody
man,
like
I ain't doing that shit. I'm gonna have me a bomb ass warrior woman, and she gonna have her scars, and she gonna be proud of that shit, and she's still gonna be out here kicking all the ass and have a bunch of dope designs and everything, man. I ain't half stepping none of this character stuff, man. I ain't half stepping none of it. I'm going full Monty with this shit.
understandable. Like there is more art, so I'm gonna go down, guys. Let me
Yeah.
know if I hit anything. Oh, is it another one?
Yeah. Oh no, I was just laughing at the ooh Debbie thing. But yeah, that one right there, that's this really great poster style thing that Go did a while ago. Which is actually, you can actually buy that poster now. That's in my store. Just
Oh
throwing that
my
out there for anybody.
goodness.
But yeah, you can own it. You can hang it on your wall. And I was talking about Mamba earlier, so that's her in the lower right there, where you can see her with the bloody tears and everything. And actually, because I actually have some voice actors for some of my stuff.
What?
She
You got voice actors?
Yeah, and you
Holy
guess who she's
shit.
voiced after?
Uh,
Guess who voices Mamba?
okay. Fuck. Fuck. I'm bad with names. Like voiced after, like a type of voice, like based off of another character. Hmm.
Well, no, no. Who does her voice? I mean,
Oh, I have no damn clue.
Gothix actually. Gothix is voicing Mamba.
Oh my freaking goodness. That sounds pretty fun. I hope she has fun with
Yeah.
that. Like,
Oh, she does. She loves it. I have one video up publicly. I have one for members on my YouTube channel, and she and I are actually planning to record some more lines next month. So definitely, everyone keep your eyes open for some new stuff in that regard. But yeah, I really like doing Mamba. It's weird because if you remember Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they had that character Carly Morgenthau, and
yeah.
as soon as I saw her and she had the mask, and then I saw how they were characterizing her, I'm like, damn it to hell. I had one of those moments that I referenced earlier where I was like, I want to like this character, but I feel like they're really not doing her right. Like, and I understand her character type where that revolutionary who's out here, talking about, who really just hates the way things are and is almost willing to become evil themselves to sort of bring about that world that they want. That's the type of person Mamba is. But I feel like the way they did it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they skirted that line and they didn't really go far enough. They tried to have her be so sympathetic so that we would still be like, quote unquote, on her side, even while she was like blowing buildings up and shit. And I feel like the way I've been writing Mamba all these years, I feel like for that type of character, that's a much better execution. But you will see more about her. I don't want to talk too much about her because a lot of her stuff is
Understandable.
shrouded in mystery.
Understandable. Like again, gonna check more pages.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Oh,
yeah, that's Will there, and that's his first introduction. His he gets introduced in this little what I'm doing on Tapis, where I do what I call the little mini arc, where it's like a little standalone adventure of them after things have already started, just so you can meet them, a few of the villains, and like Will is like the roast god. He's definitely more like this sort of like he's like a mix almost between like the light sort of like wisecracky hero and then the almost dark almost anti-hero type of person. That's why he has the two sides. That's why he has the love hate thing on his hoodie, because he has those two elements of being the more lighthearted jokey hero and the really hard gritty hero all in one.
that's pretty good. Oh man, I
Yeah, so
do.
much going on there.
There is a lot going on, but that's always the fun parts about making comics. You can like make
Mm-hmm.
whatever jokes without restricting yourself, because with a lot of people they always start with fan comics and they're like, yeah, this is pretty well good. But with your own original stuff, you can get away with whatever like you want. Like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I know this ain't Trey rolling in here late. What's up, Trey? How you doing, man? Now those two you just passed there, those are kind of future characters a little bit,
Oh
but I can
wow.
talk about them a little bit. The If you want to hit that back button there real quick,
Okay.
please. So that guy right there, his name is Bo Raffia. You can just call him Bo for short, and he's another quote unquote angel. He's a part of Ashira's friend group, and he's actually a cherub. So he's like one of those, and I love writing for him as well. He's such a happy, fun character. He's like almost like a prankster, and he doesn't have a whole lot of like really a lot of like outward strength, but he's more like utility focused. If we want to talk about more in like MOBA terms, he's more like a utility character versus a pure offense or pure defense. And weirdly enough, he's actually, although he doesn't really pop up a lot in the early part of the story, he's a very important character to me. I don't know if you've ever heard the name Emmett Till before, but I
Uh,
actually
no.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna just kind of try to keep this real quick, because I could easily talk about this for like 8 hours. So yeah, but and I'm gonna try to keep it quick too because it's kind of a sad thing to talk about. But
Oh wow.
Emmett Till unfortunately was a lynching victim from 1955. He was 14 years old from Chicago, went to visit family in Mississippi, and if you know anything about the Jim Crow era, he was accused of being like fresh and flirting with a white woman, which was a no. So he was taken from his home in the night and was tortured to death and killed, unfortunately. And the reason why his case is so well known is because his mother Mamie, when she got his body back, he was in such bad condition and his face was all jacked up, and she decided that she was going to show the world what happened to her son. And so like black newspapers and stuff at his funeral, they took pictures of his face unchanged, unedited, and the world saw that this is the type of stuff that's happening to black people in America, even to kids. Like no one was safe from this. And
Yeah.
the reason, like, well, I learned about him when I was little. Like, I was not much older than he was when he was killed. So, obviously his whole case affected me a lot. But I learned a lot about who he was as a person, and I feel like he was an average kid in a lot of ways, but he was also the type of kid where if you look at pictures of him from when he was alive, he's always smiling. He's always happy. You have lots of family and friends around him. He was like the type of kid that would just like to make you laugh and would just, crack jokes on himself. He had like a little bit of a prankster streak. He liked being the center of attention. And I'm like, you know what? It sucks that all that people will really know about him for a large part is the fact that he was murdered in this terrible, tragic way. So I'm like, let me make a character after him about how he was as a person, right? And so I modeled my character Bo, and really Bo was even his nickname in life. They called him Bobo. It was a family name, or Bo for short. So
Yeah.
I took I believe it's a Swahili word that means healing, Borafia, and I named that my character here, and they call him Bo. And he looks even a little bit like a really young Emmett. He has the same skin color and everything, and just like Emmett was in life, he's very happy-go-lucky, loves making people laugh, and he's really not a huge fighter, but he has a very strong protective streak. I describe him as one of those people where you probably will never see him. You're very unlikely to see him get angry, but if you do, you need to watch out, because it's not going to be, someone's about to have a bad time. But yeah, I really love writing him. Like every time I post about him, people love to see him. He looks so happy. This guy looks just so lovable. I'm like, yeah, he's almost like a Looney Tune sometimes, where he's just like doing all types of weird shit. Like he rides around on a cloud like Kid Goku with the flying Nimbus, and he's really cool. Like I can't wait to write him more. And then the next character there that you looked at was actually I can say a little bit about her without getting too spoilery. She's a character of mine by the name of Foxy Phoenix, who's another fan favorite. She's like my excuse me, my nod to magical girls, but like she's like a little bit of a magical girl with a little bit of an edge.
Oh yeah, I'm already liking this already.
Her thing there is like, as you can see, she's fighting these goons off with an umbrella. That's her main weapon, her umbrella, which she named Ithaca. And she feeds it with her aura energy, and she can transform it into different things. So it can be like a giant mallet, it can be like a bow staff, it can be a grappling hook, it can be whatever she needs it to be at a time. And sometimes it gets to almost like gag levels, but she also has this move called the Kitsune shotgun, or the Kitsune cannon, or the Kitsune rifle, where she'll just like shoot her actual like spiritual energy out of it, and like these orbs or these beams of light and everything. And she's definitely, like I said, she's like that magical girl, kind of like She-Hulk, in that sense of where she doesn't take herself that seriously. She's more of a fun hero, and she loves like hamming it up, and she'll probably be like a fourth wall breaking type of character. Eventually she will join the heretics properly, but she doesn't, like I said, she doesn't come for like a good arc, so I can't say too much about her. But I love Foxy so much, and other people do too. Again, like I post her and they're like, oh my gosh, she's so sexy, she looks so much fun. And yeah, she's I loved it. I love her. I love all these characters so much. It's so weird having these characters, because I feel kind of like they're not my kids, but because I created them and I'm watching them grow up and everything, that it almost feels like they're my kids in a little way. Yeah.
That's
Oh, and
understandable.
but by the way, be careful as you scroll here, because there are a couple not safe for work pictures in here, and
Oh,
I do
okay,
not want to
okay.
get your shit demonetized.
Okay, I'm gonna stop
or strong
sharing because I have
actually.
no clue
Yeah,
where it
but
is.
let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. Let me hit you with a link in the private chat here because if you want to switch up here, we can talk a little bit about the spider circle. And I actually have a website where that has all the stuff here. So I'm gonna shoot you this link here.
Oh, okay.
Should be in
Alrighty.
there seconds, and then we can do that because not safe for work stuff is up there. That's Animaine.
Ooh.
You better stop Kate because she gonna scroll and it's gonna be titties and
Yeah, I don't want to
we
do
gonna
that,
get the
guys.
stream
Like,
struck down. We don't want you to get you a
if this
strike or
was
nothing.
not like, if there was not any rules, I would do it. But there's rules. So
Yeah,
yeah, and I don't
we're
want to
gonna
just get
follow the
striked.
rules
So
today. Unforge feels bad, man.
it does. Okay, so
Yeah.
let us kick our rear to your site, or
All
the link you
right.
just sent me.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Share screen. Tab. The spider circle. Okay.
Yes, the Spider's Circle. And this is my more fantasy adventure story. Um, it's weird because this one is so new relatively. Like I got the idea because I was playing a free to play game where people fought with like gauntlets, and I'm like, this actually is cool. I feel like this would be a good power base for something. And then the little avatar I had, she was so cute and had all this like such a pronounced personality. I'm like, I feel like I want to make her into like a character, and so I did. And Catherine, the main character, doesn't look anything like that avatar. I mean, probably the only thing they have in common is that they're black women, but that's it. But yeah, like you have there, like a little synopsis up there. Catherine Scarlett is she started off life with like in the lap of luxury essentially because she was in like a really wealthy family. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, and she kind of the Spider Circle takes place in like an alternate Earth where spell casting has been like a regular part of human life for like hundreds of years, and there are these whole cities called like spell societies where like everyone or like a bunch of people walking around just regularly, it's just like a part of life, and so they're in like this little city state within the United States, and it actually, even though it takes place in the past, it's in like this alternate Earth because I wanted to have at least one story where I don't have to worry about historical accuracy or this event happening. I'm like, it's just whatever I want it to be, so I did this. And so Catherine's in this family, and there ends up being like this really mysterious event where she's out one day with her best friend, and when she's being brought back home, she shows up and the house is just on fire. And like her family, she has a brother and a sister, and they're missing. Her parents are missing, and after weeks of searching, they never find them. And so Catherine ends up, a lot of like rumors get passed around about what actually happened. Because these are the people of Arclight City, that's the city's name. They're superstitious to an extent. So someone starts spreading this idea that it was a curse that destroyed them, and how now Catherine actually has the curse. So she ended up becoming like a pariah, and like you'll see
She
a
has
little
a
bit when
pet
you
griffin.
yes, she has a pet
Dang.
griffin. And
Ooh, is it like a normal griffin or is it like a different species griffin? Like, come on, share me the details. You have to give me the
Well,
one detail about it.
right now, Goldie is her name. She's a
Oh,
I'd say she's a standard Griffin. I'm not super well versed on Griffins, but she's just a lovable little scamp. And I'm actually writing a short story right now for my patrons that has Goldie in it a lot. So yeah,
dang! You're
but
getting me convinced to just go on there, even though I don't have too much money. I'm just like,
well, let me tell you what. Once I finish the story, I'll definitely let you read it. And actually, the stories are going to be public. The only thing you need to be a patron for is when I do the polls of what prompt I'm going to use to do the short
ah,
story. The
yeah,
patrons are the ones that get to choose the polls, but everyone can read it. Once I post it
sweet.
there. But yeah, she has her Griffin, she has her best friend Kenny, she has her boyfriend Chris, she has her lifelong mentor Dr. Frank Murr, and she essentially is able to sort of build herself up to be strong enough to go out here and keep living life, and sort of maintain her like her little bit of her inner spark and stuff, because growing up being treated like just a little walking little piece of shit kind of can beat the spirit out of you, you know. So part of her journey is just getting back in touch with that side of herself. And like you can see there on the little trailer thumbnail thing, she has that's her core team right there. So that's her BFF Kenny, her boyfriend, and then her other friend right there off to the side. That's a guy by the name of Curtis. And so they make up the primary team known as the Spider Circle.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. I'm already in love with the designs. Like this is our
thanks.
the main character, right?
Yes, the cutie
Oh
with the
my
luscious
gosh, she's
pigtails.
so cute. I love the hairstyle.
Thanks. I It's weird because I had Go draw her initially. Actually she was the very first character I had him draw, and I really liked his design. But as I became more attuned to the type of story I wanted the Spider Circle to be, I felt like a different style would fit it better. So
Yeah.
that's when I found Rosalind Summers, who is my artist for the Spider Circle now. And when she did Catherine, she pretty much copied her and just put her in her style, but she made one little change. Kat used to have straight wavy-ish hair, and I suggested to Rosalind, let's give her curlier hair. And then she did that, and she gave her that little curly cue there, the little curly little doodly thing on the front of her forehead there. And I'm like, this is just Catherine now. This is Catherine. This is Catherine. It's so much. I love writing her so much. I feel like her design is simple yet unique and memorable.
Yeah.
And I feel honestly like that's something I can say as a tip for when we're making characters. A lot of newer writers and newer character designers, they like to put a whole bunch of stuff going on with the character, and like that can really harm a design unless it's intentional, unless you want them to be like a for some reason. But if you're thinking of like, oh, I want my main character or my main antagonist or whoever, a lot of times less is more.
Yeah.
You know, not a whole
Precisely.
bunch of colors, not a whole bunch of shapes going everywhere, not something with a billion buttons and badges and stuff on, because like no one's gonna remember that. But like just as she has the red, the bright red pea coat, she has the simple black skirt, the boots, she has those
Ooh.
memorable pigtails, and she has that gauntlet, that striking gauntlet there that just pops out, you know, because it's so different than the other things, right? And then some people might think, well, then how do I show, you know, who they are? Well, you can still show who they are in different ways. Like I have the faces over here, like because, and this is a way that I like to show part of who she is, what she's been through. You know, she's has sort of like the business casual woman sort of thing going on because she is the leader of the Spider Circle Coven. Um, she's and that top picture up here, this top face, you know, that's her leaving her little pout because she can be kind of a brat sometimes, because I mean she comes from she's the baby daughter in a
Yes.
rich family. If
I
y'all
love
think
her
that she's
more,
not
even more than before.
if y'all think she's not gonna have a slight bratty streak being the baby of a rich family, you got another thing coming. Okay, so it's not like in a, oh my god, girl, shut up, I want to punch you in the face. But it's like, you know, sometimes she pouts when she doesn't get her way or when people are getting on her nerves, because it's just what she does. And then, you know, she's also very adventurous, very much a can do, very proactive character. Um, and then she also has a lot that she's struggling with emotionally, and things that have happened in her past that she's still dealing with, trying to establish herself as a respectable spellcaster, using a spellcasting art that people don't really respect, because what she does is it's a very unconventional type of style where she can absorb other people's spells and use them to herself to a degree, but it has to be something that she knows, you know, so that obviously gives her some sort of handicaps there. And then yeah, that's her family picture from when she was a wee one. You know, she has her
Oh,
father
this is
Ben.
adorable.
Yep, she has her father Ben, her mom Joyce Lou, her older sister Tabitha, her brother Ben Jr., and then yeah, that's her. Just and then I decided that when one of her things that's always going to be consistent, she's always going to have either the pigtails or the afro puffs. So like for whenever anyone does like any Catherine art, like I tell them straight up, like a lot of this is open to your interpretation, but you got to make sure she has the pigtails. If you see someone out here and she don't have the hair on the sides of the head, it's not Catherine. Like Goku will
Understandable.
always have that weird that weird anime wild bedhead stuff, Catherine will always have pigtails of some site. It's just part of who she is. But like I am in absolute love with this universe here we're making. And then we got the other folks. We got Chris there, we got Kenny off to the side, we got Dr. Murr, and you can see a little bit of their spellcasting arts as well. Chris is a
Ooh.
technomancer, so he deals a lot with like being able to control electronic or digital devices or make projections. And he's also an inventor, so that vial he's holding, that's like holding a different a type of spell in itself, and he can like throw it, and like if it was like a fire vial, he would throw it and it would explode or something like that. So it's like think of it almost like a magic grenade or something. And then we have Kendra, who she does fire and ice. That's pretty straightforward. And
Ooh.
that whip she's holding there, it's like ice energy, but it's just this a lot of the way that these guys use their spell casting, it's less to do with the spell itself, like the style. It's more about how they apply it, right? So you can have like someone who does pyrokinesis, and it can be real straightforward shooting fireballs. You could have another person who does it where they like coat their whole body with fire, so it's like they're untouchable or something like that. And then Dr. Frank there, he's his thing is light, and that's a little bit harder sometimes to write for because you have to think of different applications of light. But he's like
Yeah.
the mentor character, the teacher. They're all in college when the story starts, so he's a professor there, so he's the one that's constantly like busting their chops and trying to get them to stay on the ball because he believes in all of them. But they're all sort of kind of like misfits in their own way for
Oh,
and some
so
for
like I just kind of noticed this like when you were when you were talking about these characters, and I'm like,
Mhm.
it sounds like Buffy but better. Like I don't know how anyone can top Buffy, but this sounds more impressive than Buffy the Vampire
Well,
Slayer.
I don't know about all that, but all I'm gonna say is if my stuff is making you think of something like Buffy, I'm definitely doing something right. So that's definitely that's probably one of the best compliments you could pay me because Buffy ain't no joke. Buffy go hard,
Yeah. But dang, I'm
definitely.
really enjoying how different everyone looks. Like you don't have the same
Yeah,
face. Like I always hate like the same face, and I know I have that problem for myself. So it's
I
always
mean
nice to see it.
yeah, it's just one of those things where I think of when you actually think of things like diversity, the human race, the human experience is so varied in every aspect. Like I don't want my characters to all feel very samey, and especially since I'm making like my own society in a way where I don't have to worry about, oh well, it's in Japan and I want to have like some black or browner characters, or I want to have some characters more of this ethnicity, but it doesn't make sense. Like, no, it can be whatever I want it to be. I can have a character who looks like all these different things, and it gets much even deeper than this. But I love it so far. I love the fact that I have characters that they look stronger, weaker, more sophisticated, more tough. Like this, just there's so much you can do with just the character's face or the way they wear their clothes, the way they perform their whatever extra abilities that can tell you so much about who they are. And I just love that aspect of character design. Um, I believe there's one more character on this page that's done in this style that I do want to talk about. No,
Oh,
yes, yes.
she's giving
Ev-
me like I'm trying to remember her name. There was Elphaba, then there's fuck, fuckity
Glenda,
fucksin, huh?
Glenda.
Glinda. I was getting Glinda vibes from her because of the hairstyle. I was like,
Uh huh. Well, I definitely. Well, as much as I love Wicked, it was kind of inevitable that some of that might bleed in here. But yeah, I actually did look at an artist's rendition of both Elphaba and Glinda, and the evolution of their outfits in Wicked, and that informed a little bit of how I do some outfits for the Arclight City residents. So that's Evangeline Carolyn Price. She calls herself Eve. Because of course she does, and she's like the first, not necessarily the big bad, but she's like the first almost major-ish villain of the story. And she's like this totally hoity-toity super rich girl who she's one of the people who's been like dumping on Catherine for like years, and like is just totally convinced of her own superiority. And yes, I had to have her do the ho laugh because I can't make a snooty rich woman put her in there and not have her do the oh ho 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 ho. But yeah, she's like that, and she's one of those people that she's one of her main things isn't necessarily her spell casting, but just the fact that she's so rich, her family has so many connections that like sometimes, okay, maybe she can't defeat you in battle, but she can like get you fired or something. She's like the ultra Karen, like in that regard. And she's very backhanded. She's very she's very sneaky, right? Like that's why she's charging her attack behind her back because she doesn't want you to know it's coming. And she has like no scruples about doing underhanded things or pulling strings to get her way. And she's just one of those people who feels like, I'm gonna be the one to be running Arclight City. She's the self-proclaimed Southern Belle of Arclight, and she
Oh,
will not.
Southern accent. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I had to have me a nice Southern thickness because technically Arclight City is technically in the South. It would be around like the Virginia, North Carolina region. So it stands to reason that there would be some folks down there that are more Southern. And I'm like, why don't I just make her like a total Southern belle? Excuse me. And like between the Wicked stuff and a couple other fantasy games, and actually, I don't know if you've ever seen how Jacqueline Kennedy dressed back in the day, but
no.
she was a big inspiration for just the way she dresses for you there because I liked one of the things I like about the Spider Circle is I like how I'm creating this aesthetic that harkens back to like different older areas of like fashion and architecture, cars and stuff, sort of, the first half roughly of the 20th century, but it's still in this fantasy setting. So it's like it's not because I didn't want to do something where it looks medieval or it looks like everyone just looks like they look today. I'm like, I want to do something a little different. And I don't know what exactly had me put it in the 60s, but once I decided it and I started drawing from like some actual styles from back then, I
Yeah,
love it so much, and now I literally can't imagine this story any other way.
that's understandable.
But I
Sorry,
think
I'm just been
no,
like
no, you're
I'm
fine.
so absorbed with this. It's like I really like the sound of it. I love the story so far, and I'm like, oh my freaking goodness. I
Yeah.
really like everything about this. I'm just like, if you started the series, like, wait, I don't know if you started the series. Did you start the series? Like, is it getting there?
I currently have the prologue up on Patreon, but it's free, it's open to the public. So like the it's on my Patreon just because that's where I keep it, but anyone can go see it, even if you're not like a actual patron. But
I'm definitely
that's
gonna see it more.
oh yeah, I'll shoot you
I'm
the link
super.
so you can look at it. But I'm working on the first chapter now. My goal is that for this year, I definitely want to do crowdfunding. I'm thinking of doing like a dual crowdfunding campaign where the campaign is for the first issues of both the Spider Circle and Bond of the Blade. That way people can really get some bang for their buck. I haven't decided if that's exactly what I'm going to do, but that's where I'm leaning right now. And hopefully that's something I can get off the ground within the next few months. I definitely want to at least get that ball rolling by springtime. But I'll definitely keep you and I'll keep everyone else posted as to how that's going. Because I really can't wait for people to dive into this story and just eat all this up, eat Bond of the Blade up. Because like creating these stories and actually showing them to the world is more of an enriching feeling than I can put into words. Like honestly, and I know you're working on a lot of your own stuff too, so that's something you'll be experiencing a lot too. What do you got working on though? We talking so much about me.
Yeah,
What are
I
you
was
working
like,
on there?
I wanted to like see what yours was about because like I was just like, I really wanted to hear more of it after your stream. I
Mhm.
was like, I need to like listen more to you, and it just
Yeah,
I'm really inspired, and I'm just like, your
awesome.
character designs are amazing. Like I'm just like, oh
Thank you.
my gosh, this
Yeah,
looks so good. But
I'm
anyways,
really
yeah,
glad you're feeling it.
but yeah, oh my goodness, I can't
Yeah,
wait
and
to see
that was
more.
a little preview of Goldie up there too, by the way.
This is Goldie. Oh my gosh. This
Yeah.
is gonna be the best thing ever. I love like rare and like not rare animals, but mystical animal pets. They
Yeah,
always win me over.
yeah, and it's weird that you use the right word mystic because that's actually the term I use for them. Like any like mythical creature, they're like there's regular animals, dogs, cats, and stuff, and then there's the animals like Goldie, like she's the griffin, and then there's also like uh like wolves that have like these horns and stuff, and all types of different creatures, and they just call them mystics. Like they're their own class of animal. So that's something that you'll definitely see more of, even in the short story I'm writing. You'll see some more of that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Whew. This is a lot to absorb, and I'm like, oh, it just feels like I just went to the movies and actually, saw it in my head.
I'm not overloading you, am I?
No, no, no. It's a good thing that you managed to do that because I'm just like, it's coming out. You're saying it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this sounds so freaking awesome.
Awesome.
Like if this were to be made into a movie or
Hmm.
TV series, I would, jump straight the fuck in. Like this sounds
Oh,
fucking
that's
awesome.
awesome. That's what I likes to hear. That's what I likes to hear. Yeah, but tell me, let's talk a little bit about your stuff because I know we're gone a bit over the time, but I don't want to end without you talking about your stuff.
Oh, okay. Like I'm here for you. Like let me just I don't have too much. I just have, reference sheets and a lot of information. I don't have any, detailed art like or any scenes or anything planned out. I mostly keep that in my sketchbook which is somewhere in this room and I have no clue where I placed it.
Spaghettios. Can't
Yeah,
find this
like
book.
it's been a while since I've, played around with the plot a little, but okay. I don't have a lot. Uh, I'm avoiding like my comic book stuff because I still don't have a lot of that figured out. This one, the story the story I got, which is like it's very simple and it's kind of like I would have to say kind of a How I Met Your Mother, but like with mystical creatures and a lot of bullshit, like mysteries and stuff. It's hard to describe, but let me just share what I got.
Hmm.
Now, I only have it on Paint right now because, it's easier to pull things up in Paint. Photoshop, it's
Right.
annoying. So I've
Uh-huh.
got like this lineup of characters drawn by hand, and I mean, they're not that good sometimes. Like,
No, no,
this
no,
is the
no, no.
best I could do.
Don't you start that, okay? Don't you start down in your
I'm
own
just
art,
nervous because
okay?
I'm like, oh my
In
gosh.
fact, you said you drew these by hand and then you put them on the computer?
Yeah, like
Or
a
you
lot of
drew them
these.
like wow, that's really freaking dope though. Like
Because I had to
tell me a
make
little bit
okay. Because like when it comes to like heights and stuff, I can't do it digitally. Because when I do it digitally, then I fuck up because I'm like,
hmm.
oh, it's like the same height as this, and then bam, I fuck up. So I'll start off with the fuck, damn, I keep forgetting names. I'm nervous. I'm like, okay,
That's all
talking to my
right.
friend about this.
Just breathe, take it easy.
Okay, just remembering names because I know that this one's Ben. That's
Mhm.
Lydia. That's Peyton. That's what's your name again?
What's your name again? What's
I'm
your
just
name again?
okay. Let me just like okay, okay. Damn it. Okay,
I'm
so
f- I'm
I'm
feeling what would you say her name was? Lydia over on the far right?
yeah, Lydia.
That's Lydia. So far, I like all of them, but for some, she is like calling my name. I don't know what it is about her. She just has this energy that I feel like I'm gonna like. Tell me something about her.
Okay, so Lydia, she's okay, so she's the main character of the story, but she interacts with her group of friends all the time because she lives with her friends and they have this channel like kind of like YouTube and stuff. They investigate
Hmm.
paranormal stuff and she's kind of new to this. She is able to kind of see spirits. She doesn't realize it at first. It's just like she freaks out when she first is able to see it, but like yeah, she's like her design is very simple. I wanted to show that, she is Native American because,
Hmm.
again, I don't see that many good Native American characters, but I also don't want to
Feel
shove
you.
that element of, oh, we need more of them. So I just made one because,
Yeah,
mm.
I feel you. Hey,
And
yeah, that's dope though. I think that's I don't know if diversity done right is necessarily the term I'm looking for, but I definitely like that you are sort of in that vein of, hey, I want to see more of this, but I don't want to shove that in people's faces. I don't want to lead with that. I just want to do it and have it be organic, right? So, I mean,
yeah,
she's leading the crew, so even if it ain't but one, she's the focus, so that you don't get better representation than that.
yeah, originally she started off as Irish and she had red hair, and I was like, then when I, did the clothes, it was like it was giving me Kim Possible vibes, and I'm like, okay, rewind a little bit. We don't want to go with Kim Possible because then people are gonna start comparing her to Kim
Hmm.
Possible, and I'm like, okay, back to the drawing board. And
Yeah.
I went through a couple of other ideas, like, okay, she has black hair. No, I don't want to go with black hair because then I would add highlights because every time I have a black haired character, somehow they always end up with highlights, and I'm like, okay, again,
Hmm.
let's go with brown. That's the
All
closest
right.
I can do. And I decided, hey, Native American, don't see that many Native Americans with brown hair. Like I'm one of them, but like I again,
Hmm.
it's like one of those style things where I'm like, every Native American looks this way, and I'm like, no, they don't. Some of them have like
Right.
brown, like light brown hair, dark brown hair. They don't always have black hair. It's so
Right.
weird. It's so weird to see in every adaptation I've seen. Like, oh,
Every time. Didn't Wes's face have that too? The Captain America, Captain Native American. Didn't he was
yeah,
just so many things. But more about
yeah.
your girl Lydia though. What's that necklace she has?
Well, it's nothing really I would say important to her, but like I just figured it would help make the shirt like reflect a little better since she's not wearing a
Hmm.
lot of color to begin with. I was like, maybe one piece of jewelry won't hurt, and I kind of like teal in some design elements.
Hmm.
So it was like
I
a
like
cute
it.
feather
Yeah,
necklace.
it definitely stands out because she has a lot of the darker colors. She got the black shirt on, and then you got this nice little pop, 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 pop of little
Yeah.
colorful beats there. That's
But
dope.
yeah, she's also she has a bit of a burn on her like side of her face, and I was like, I gotta stop putting myself into this, but it's like I don't really have a burn. I just wanted to see more characters with a bit of a burn on their face. So
Gotcha.
that was one thing I did, and it's mostly it was like it's not really part of the story, but it kind of is like at the very beginning where it all
Hmm.
starts with how they
Gotcha.
meet. But
Gotcha. I
yeah,
understand that. Yeah. But that's good. It's definitely good to have things about characters that aren't necessarily core to who they are or where they came from, but it's just because it's part of their life, their just overall journey, it still matters.
yeah. And I wanted a character that was like not always like super pretty just because she's like the only girl at the beginning who people pull their attention to. She's not always like, she's not the typical popular girl. She's really quiet. And, in this, story, she, takes the chance to actually communicate more and, build some more confidence in talking to people. And I feel like this was kind of a way to get myself to understand how some people are and how they
Yeah.
develop their social skills better. And this is kind of my only way to like understand it more. The second character, who is my absolute favorite because he's a freaking Irish bitch. Like, well, not an Irish bitch, but he calls himself a bitch from time to time. But
Gotcha. Gotcha. And that's
me,
Ben, you said?
well, it's Ben, but it's short for Ebenezer because I've always wanted to use the name Ebenezer after the Christmas Carol. I was like, I want to
Wow.
name a character this, but I don't know what.
Talk about a subversion of expectations, because I never would have guessed that was what it was short for. But okay. So we got
Yeah,
old Ebenezer up here and
he's
wait.
basically a demon who, he's okay, the story starts off with, a group going in trying to investigate, and they meet Ebenezer, a fucked up demon who eventually joins in like a fucked up version of Scooby Doo. Like he's like, "Hey, How about I join up with you guys? I'm stuck here. I need to get my purpose thing done because I was summoned by three crazy bitches who wanted to make use of me, and I can't make
Mm.
go back to hell until I fulfill that wish, desire thing,
Mhm.
purpose. And he has to like room with these people, and they're like, "We don't really like you. We just don't care for you."
You know what though? But I like that. That's I always like that trope of having like a demon or a demonic character, but they're not necessarily like just a stock evil mustache twirler. Like he definitely looks like a campy bastard in like the best way. I feel like he's
Yeah.
like gonna be like the one of the scenery chewers where every time he's on panel it's just like, oh Lord, what is he
Yeah,
doing now?
he's definitely gonna be like pulling heads because he's like because during that time when he groups up with them, he eventually realizes what he wants to do with his life, which is to
Mhm.
become a detective. But unfortunately, he doesn't know shit other than the older mystery detective movies, and he's like, I could just do that shit, man. Like nobody's
Mm.
gonna judge me. And this guy, uh, Carter, if I remember things correctly, if I don't,
Mhm.
then his name is Carter. Then,
Look, there you go. His name is Carter.
yeah, Carter. He's basically like the opposite of Ebenezer. He's like, okay, we got to be responsible, guys. He's like the head of the entire like body of crazy characters we have here. He's always the
Mhm.
one wanting more and more for the team, and he's like, okay, we got to make sure we do our best, that kind of thing. And the beginning, he was like mostly doing this ghost search for views or people to watch him and
Right.
like him, and he's willing to do a lot of things, even throw a lot of his friends under the bus just to
Mm.
collaborate with other big names. And during this time in the story, it kind of it gets explored about those type of desires for fame and such.
Mhm.
I won't go too much
Okay.
into that.
No, 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 no. I like where this is going. I like that you when you're casting characters here, you definitely have a nice um range of personalities and a nice range of like what's the word I'm looking for? Motivations. Like I definitely look at this crew and I like how you don't just have everyone's just in it for like the most obvious reason. Like you got this guy here who's a freaking demon looking for his purpose and he was summoned here by some random women to do God knows what, and then he ended up wanting to be a detective. And then you got this guy over here who's like trying to, get a million views on GhostTube, and he ain't treating people the best way. But it's like, and then you got Lydia over here in her own little world. And correct me, I have to know, did you get her? Where'd you get her name from?
Well, it originally started off as like Lena or Lena, Lena, and then I'm like, that sounds so casual. I want something good. And then I was remembering my childhood, and I was like, hey, remember that cartoon show you used to watch in middle school? And I was like, yeah, Beetlejuice. And I was like,
Beetlejuice.
yes,
Yes, let's go, Lydia Dietz. That's why I was
yeah.
hoping you was going with this. Yes, let's go, Lydia.
I just wanted a girl who, had an experience with the ghost, and I was like, yeah, she could be named Lydia after that character because I love Lydia Dietz with all of my passion when it comes to creepy stuff. It was
Hell
the
yeah.
best show as a kid for me.
Yeah, man, that show was so good, and the movie. Like, I love
I
Beetlejuice.
love the movie was really good. I gotta say the costumes are mm, perfect.
Yeah, man, definitely. But this is dope. The only one do you have anything you want to say about the other two here?
Oh yeah, the other two like okay, sorry to like forget about these two. Like they're kind of forgettable, but they're kind of best friends. Okay, so obviously crap. I know I always tend to forget names. I wonder if your name was Gregory. You look like a Greg. I could be wrong. No,
Oh,
no,
you
no.
Greg.
Nate, little Nate.
All right,
I based
Nate.
him off of Tom Holland because I was like, yeah, he looks really good. But if he was in a
Hmm.
different series, I would watch it more because as Spider-Man, I was not feeling it. I was like,
Yeah,
no, no, not. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Even if you weren't telling me you were a British dude, I'm still not feeling it. So I was like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna use that in like his look in a way to kind of make a nerdy, kind of pathetic kind of character who's always avoiding like danger and stuff. I mean, Ebenezer likes to use him from time to time. His like kindness and respect and all that stuff, being
Yeah.
basically a normal, decent human being, and making him do shit he probably would not be caught dead doing. Which is when we
Mm.
pull out Peyton. Now, Peyton is people might notice this a little bit early on because of the way I drew her, but she's actually a trans woman. And I was like, I wanted a character like that, like a very powerful bitch. She knows who she is. She can get everyone in her place. She can,
Yeah.
even get him in his place if she has to. Like I wanted someone who
Okay.
yeah, I wanted someone who was confident, and she was actually the backbone of the body, but he's the head. He's smart,
Yeah.
but he's not, strength and understanding with the other characters. That's what he
Right.
loses with, in the story. He can't get them all on his side because he's always worried about him. She, on the other hand, focuses on everyone else, even Ebenezer, as much as she hates,
Mm.
hates with her heart because, he's a perverted bastard. She
Yeah, I
hates
bet.
him, but she will respect him to an extent.
Yeah. That's wow. That's a really dope group dynamic you're building here. Such a I love anything that has like really wildly different personalities that find a way to come together for whatever their goal is. And yes, I can definitely see the Tom Holland just oozing off of your boy Nate there. It just I feel like I need to go watch Spider-Man Homecoming looking at this guy. I actually need to find a good site to find freaking No Way Home because I'm not paying no ass load of money to go see it, but I want to see that movie.
Understandable. I'm like still waiting, and I have not seen it because I was thinking about it when I was like when it came out. I was just like, hey, do I go and watch it? And it's like, no, I don't want to waste any time right now to like go to the theater, and my family is already like going through some crap, so I didn't want to feel like I was ditching them and going to have some self enjoyment for myself because I always feel guilty afterwards if I do something like that.
Gotcha. I got you. But
Oh wow,
you gotta find a way though.
guys, you oh my
Oh,
goodness,
what I missed.
fierce apathetic Black Queen. Oh my goodness, cool drawings, Kate. Ebenezer reminds me of John Constantine. Yes, I get vibes of John Constantine character. Oh yeah, totally. Yes, I
Let's
based
go.
Ebenezer after John Constantine. I wanted to do something with this character for a long time, but I also didn't want to be restricted to just that. So instead of
Mhm.
British, he's Irish, and I was like, it's kind of the same thing. Not really, but the background story for Ebenezer, it's a really kind of depressing one in a way because I was focusing on, doing history research, and I wanted to tell a story that really carried it home for some elements that we don't talk about in history. I really wanted to do something big for this, and just thinking about like what I managed to do with it, I'm getting a bit choked up because I'm just like just imagining that. Mm, mm, mm.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
just like kind of choked up a little. Like I'm not crying or anything. I'm just like when you get that strength of emotion from a character that kind of hurts
Yeah.
in a way that it's just like it's really sad. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
No, but that's real though. And look, also I'm hearing a little bit of an echo.
Oh, did I accidentally pull? Huh. Just double checking my like wiring right now.
Sure.
Does it? Is it still making an echo?
Da, da, da. No, no echo now.
Oh, okay. I guess I was
But
probably either leaning too close to it or something else. I don't know.
it happens. But yeah, like that's real though what you just said. And look, the amount of times that I have full blown shed tears for my own characters whose stories I completely made myself. Like we would be here all night recounting all the times. Look, sometimes when you know that point that thing happens to them in the story or where you're going with them or anything like that or just the fact that they feel so real to you because like at a certain point these characters we don't even write them anymore. They essentially write themselves. It's like we're just watching them do stuff and we're just recording it.
Yeah,
And
that's what it felt like.
when a character is that real to you, it's very easy to get really emotional about what they're going through. So like that's really good that you have that, and that means that when you write stuff for him, that means that it's going to hit people. Because if you can get that emotional investment going for yourself, and you can put that into the actual story execution, other people are bound to see it as well. You're not going to be one of these folks that's out here just writing something and your answer for putting everything is, oh, I thought it'd be cool. I thought it'd be cool. No, like this matters to you. This character
Yeah.
matters, the story matters, and so it's going to matter to other people.
Yeah,
Most
I'm
definitely.
hoping that's what it is. Like, I know this is gonna start off as like a web comic, but it's probably gonna be my second project because I know my first project is again going to be with my sister because like I don't have anything to show right now because again she has me on this restriction of don't show anything to anyone, and I'm like okay I won't, and I'm like
Well, damn.
I want to show, but it's like she has me on a collar and leash, and I'm like dang it.
Hey man, look, you can't. It's not cookies yet. It's still dough in there. You got to wait till it's full
Yeah,
cookies before you show people.
precisely, and I'm like super pumped for it because again I love exploring supernatural elements that I would love to make fun of and do a lot of other things. I mean we already got like several different seasons in mind, like I think it went up to 5.
Well,
That's
damn.
gonna be long, but hey, at least I'll be able to practice my drawing.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
That way it can
I'm
be better.
really now. What is the name for your story? Because I don't want to just think of it as that thing that Kate's doing. And if you did say the
uh,
name, I'm sorry, but
it's okay, it's okay. Like right now it's called Buka. Okay, Bokeh, Buka. I'm not sure if I'm even saying it right myself. Effect. Buka
Buka
effect.
effect. What was Buka?
Okay, so the way I see it, because again, this is a huge supernatural mystery like series that's gonna happen. Let me just like because again I gotta remember the Google definition or like any definition of it because what it
Mm-hmm.
is it's basically it's a aesthetic quality of the blur produced out of mid focus. Like I'll show you a image of what it is
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
again it kind of makes a difference in the story. Kind of it sounds weird, but like don't believe me, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Hey, look, you ain't showed me nothing bad yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
that.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like I see cameras being kind of a big part of the story in a way because it starts off with the camera being on and Nate is the one holding the camera like
Mm-hmm.
it's either Nate or someone else holding a camera and taking pictures of crime scenes and stuff that's happened. That's why I decided hey it's gonna either be called Buka effect or it's gonna be something else. I like
Gotcha.
because it's always going to be
Okay.
like kind of blurry for that because I don't want to show
Yeah.
too much of stuff like
Right.
inappropriate stuff, but it's going to
Yeah.
still be there.
But I really like that. It really does sound like you've been putting just so much thought and into everything. I can tell that everything in this story has a meaning. I am here for that shit. I am here for people's names being having some type of real inspiration, their looks, the title of the story. And this definitely looks like something that I'm gonna like to check out. Like so definitely hit me up whenever you're ready to go live, even if you just
Oh,
want to like run some like preview pages past somebody. Like I'll be your guy for that if you need
I'm
one.
definitely really open to that because like I do need people to like see the pages before because I'm going to be drawing this shit myself and mostly because I can't really one I can't afford people like even if I
Yeah,
find an
I
artist
understand.
that really likes the project there's always going to be like it always extends over time and I'm like
Yeah.
it's always
But you
difficult to find that.
but you gonna be doing the damn thing, and I'm gonna help you. If there's anything I can do to help you do the damn thing even better, then there you go.
That's always nice to know. And I know we were supposed to talk about tips and stuff, but I guess like
I mean, we did. We
oh,
I just because when I figured that we were going to be gushing over each other's stories, I just figured we'll just weave the tips into the story discussion.
oh, good idea. Like I think we just gave everyone tips like
We
naming,
sure did.
care. Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did the damn thing. We did the damn thing, and I'm super glad that you asked me to come on. I would love to come back whenever you want me. I'll
Sounds
probably
like a
say
plan because I
maybe
love gushing over these things.
give me at least a good week heads up because my schedule is kind of all over the place. But definitely, I will
Understandable.
always be able to make time for the Dazzling Kate stream. And thank y'all too for coming through and showing so much love, showing love to my stuff, showing love to Kate stuff. Like one of the best things you can do. This will be my closing tip. If you want to support an artist, okay, maybe you don't necessarily have the money, maybe you don't even have the time really to dive super deep into a lot of their stuff like you might want to. But if you want to support an artist in a really easy way, just give them some genuine feedback, whether it's praise, whether it's criticism, reasonable criticism. Now don't go there telling them everything you do is shit. Let's light yourself on fire, nothing crazy like that. But like if you say, "Oh, that looks dope," tell them why it's dope. Tell them, "Yo, I really like that design. I like that name. I like that story idea." Or ask questions. Get them to talk about stuff. That is a super easy way that you can show your support to an artist, and not only do that, but show them, "Hey, this is what they're doing great. This is some stuff they might need to work on." And help us grow and help us build ourselves up. Because we love the retweets and the likes and stuff, but at some point, you know, throw an actual thing in there every now and then. And I do this sometimes myself. I'm just like, that's dope. And I'm like, no anime, tell them why it's dope. You know, something simple. That's all.
Oh man, 1 hour and 30 minutes. I gotta say, this is like the shortest stream, but it's also a good stream where it was had a lot of emotions and like
Mm-hmm.
being interested in like learning about the others' content because I really loved learning about the spider circle, and
Also,
I'm probably gonna draw fan art because that design. Oh, it's so
that would be an
adorable.
honor. I would be honored if you did some fan art. That would be dope as hell. And actually, you don't have to go back and show this, but there's actually a page on my website that I have just for fan art. So when you do it, I'll slap it up on the website and it'll be dope.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do fan art because I cannot resist cute, pigtails. That's my favorite thing to like get into and draw. Like,
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
but yeah, it was really, really awesome to have you here. And the chat, you guys are amazing. Every time you comment down what you liked and what you enjoyed about this, that made my night because showing
For real.
support to not me, but Animaine here, like that is like the best thing I can witness as a reader and fan. Like that is the best thing to witness.
Definitely, definitely. Shout out to y'all chat room. Y'all are the truth. Y'all are all the MVPs.
Anyways, guys, we're coming to an end, unfortunately. But remember, there will always be a stream every week, or twice a week when I can. But I can't make any guarantees. I really just wanted to talk about comics with Animaine and what the projects, how our projects are going, and again, I can't wait to see more. Like I'm super excited. I'm like shaken up right now. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be something. And look, I'm for real. When you start getting more of them pages done, you send them my
I
way, and I'm
will.
we gonna iron out whatever kinks need to be ironed out. We gonna make this shit popping. We gonna put it out here, and it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. Like as soon as because some of the designs I have, I know I need to redesign. So you're gonna be the first person who knows. Because again, I want to support you, and you want to support me, and it's always such a nice thing to see creators do.
Hell yeah, definitely, definitely.
But yeah, anyways, guys, this is the end of the stream. And any last words, Animane?
Everybody out there, if you are drawing anything, if you are writing anything, let your imagination run wild and free. Don't ever let no one tell you you can't do nothing. If they want to be a hater, if they want to tell you all your shit sucks just cuz, Don't worry about fighting them all the time. Just prove them wrong with your art and your dopeness and your stories. Take a dump on their chest with your success. That's the best way you can deal with people that's telling you can't do nothing. Don't let nobody tell you that you shouldn't tell your stories. We are a part of the human race, and telling stories and telling our ideas and our emotions through stories, that is as human as you can get. So don't ever let no one tell you that you can't partake in the most human hobby, the most human pastime that we've ever had. You go out there and you do the damn thing, everybody.
Yep, that was his last words, and yeah, oh my goodness, I think my arms practically be. Oh, and just gonna read your comments real quick. Great stream, Kate. See you and peace out. Thanks for sharing, Kate and Animaine. Nice stream. It's good to see you on Kate stream, Animaine. Good night, y'all. Raven Flame. Who's Mr.
Nicholson?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who he was talking to for that. I don't know.
I don't.
Raven, who said something about Mr. Nicholson?
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know.
I don't even know either, but I'm kind of curious. Wait, are you talking about? Are you talking about the stream from last? God.
Uh-oh. Did my
No, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
Drama.
It's not drama. Okay. Anyways, guys, aside from that, okay. Again, I hope you guys have a nice and safe night, and keep up the good work, keep writing, keep doing your art like Animaine says, and yeah, let's support one another and be peace out and stuff. Okay. Anyways, this is Dazzling Kate and Animaine.
Deuces. Oh yes, it's me. It's Animaine. Sorry, I forget my own shit. Fail. Love it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyways, here we are, both signing the hell out of here.
Deuces.